Well, thank you everybody for joining our webinar tonight as part of our virtual fair. Today we're going to be talking about CIE summer programs in Seoul, South Korea. Again, I know it's later in the day. I'm on the West Coast, but I know for many families joining us from across the country, it might be super late. So thank you again for taking the time to join us to learn a little bit more about these study abroad opportunities. What I'll be doing today is kind of first introducing CIEE in general, talk about our different programs, what we offer, and then I'll be handing over the spotlight to the main attraction of tonight's event, which is our alumni, students who've actually been to Korea and been on our programs, and give them a chance to share their personal experiences. But just to introduce myself first really quickly, my name is Adam. I'm an enrollment coordinator in Northern California and Nevada. So I'll help students like potentially yourselves, your families, support you guys during the application process and chat with you about programs. But I'm joined today by Brianna. Welcome, Brianna, who'll be help moderating our presentation today. And then, of course, by our four alumni, who I will give a chance to introduce themselves really quickly. So just maybe your name and perhaps what program you went on. So Emma, let's start with you.
Hi, I'm Emma, and I studied abroad for the Korean Language and Culture program, session 1 last summer.
Awesome, perfect. And Melanie, we'll popcorn over to you.
Okay, hi, I'm Melanie. I studied abroad in the Seoul Language and Culture Program 2, Session 2 last summer.
Awesome. Nili, do you want to go next?
I'm Neely, and I traveled also in the Korean Language and Culture Program, Session 1, this summer.
Awesome, perfect. Is Joanna joining us today? No, Joanna, that's perfectly fine. So yeah, so we'll get started. So again, we're talking about our program specifically in South Korea, but first I just want to talk a little bit about CIEE, why choose CIEE as your study abroad provider. First of all, we're the oldest of our kind. We've been around for over 75 years, having been founded in 1947. So shortly after World War II, with the philosophy of bringing the world closer together. Um, we've grown as a company over those 75 plus years. As recently, as of last year, we supported over 40,000 students on different programs around the world. In order to provide support for all those students, a big help for that is our nonprofit status. That means a couple things. We're able to support that number of students because we reinvest both in the quality of our programs and also the variety of them. And that also means that our organization does what we do out of a passionate commitment to, as I said, bringing the world closer together and provide those unique opportunities to students. And because of we believe very strongly that studying abroad should be a part of every high schooler's high school experience, and that finances shouldn't be a barrier. And for that reason, we administer the largest scholarship fund for U.S. high school students. So last year, we provided over $8 million in scholarship funds for students to help see them go abroad. So just a little bit about those programs. Again, we provide quite a wide variety of programs. We have inbound programs where we're bringing high schoolers from abroad here in the United States, enrolling them in American high schools for 5 or 10 months. But then we're also sending college students abroad. We're also sending people for internships abroad. But today we're going to be mostly focusing on we're going to be entirely focusing on our high school abroad programs, particularly our summer abroad programs, of course, in Seoul, South Korea. But I just wanted to share this with you to show kind of the breadth of our programs for summer. We have programs in over 40 cities. That's a total of 100 different programs, more than 100 different programs. So things from language and culture programs to topics such as engineering, the arts, business, public service. So very, very many of them. But yeah, so what we say for any good study abroad program is they're made up of these three components. We call them the three Fs. So fun, of course, and we'll talk a little bit more about the fun from people who've personally experienced it on our programs in a little bit. But of course, you're abroad. We're going to be having you do daily activities, get out into your environment, and have a really good time and make lifelong connections and memories to bring home with you. But speaking of lifelong connections, another big part of it is friends. So friends will come from, the cohort. We are having students from around the United States enroll in our programs. So your students would meet other people from around the country, in addition to other people in the country of their destination. But then also for some of our programs, and we'll probably hear from quite a few people today for the language and culture programs in particular, and some of the topic programs, they include a homestay element. So that's a lifelong connection to a family in that country as well. And then also some kind of tangible takeaways from our programs of the future aspect of it include college credits. So for all the language and culture programs, that's 4 units of transferable GE language credits that you can transfer to a college of your choice. That's 4 units you don't have to think about or worry about, pay for again once you get to college, and they're out of the way, kind of make your schedule that much more flexible. And then also we say stand out on college applications. Only 2% of high schoolers study abroad before they go to college. And that means you will stand out on a college application. It also means you have a really great topic for your college application essays. So it really helps you really highlight yourself as someone who's had unique experiences unique experiences and gained, sense of independence, senses of self-sufficiency that are soft skills that can really help you in your future career. And then, of course, like I said, develop skills and then really kind of give you the opportunity to explore passions for future careers as well. So just kind of break it down into the 2 main types of programs we offer really quickly. The first is language and culture programs. So these are 4-week-long programs in 8 different languages that we offer, or wait, that's actually 9 different languages that we offer. So you can take programs in Spanish, French, German, Italian, Arabic, Japanese, Mandarin, Korean, or Portuguese. These are all immersive programs, which, like I said before, includes a homestay element. Some advantages of staying with a homestay include, you're immersed in the language 24/7. We have your classes in the morning. You're going out into the environment on your daily activities, still surrounded by that language, but then you're coming home as well and having more opportunities to speak in your target language with your family at home. We say 1 month of CIE equals 1 year of school. That's going to really depend on your school, but um, the point of that statistic is that you are in this immersive environment. I've spoken with many teachers who have said that their students who have come back from CIE programs, they come back leaders in their classroom. They come back much more confident in their language skills. And you're really gritting as much as you can by being fully immersed you know, in the language that you're looking to learn by actually being in a country where that language is spoken. And then again, some takeaways are the 4 units of college credits available for all language and culture programs. And then you also potentially qualify through some testing if you test high proficiency in a language before and or after the program, what's called the Global Seal of Biliteracy, which is a nationally recognized kind of stamp of proficiency in a language that you can put college transcripts, you can put on future job applications and things like that. But then our other major, going back. Yeah, so those are our language culture programs, which we'll be focusing on today. I just want to also quickly mention that we do offer topic programs as well, including in South Korea. So these are 3-week-long programs that allow you to explore a specific subject while you are abroad. So for South Korea, that includes our K-pop program, that includes our urban design and sustainability program, but that includes also a automotive engineering program and a diplomacy program as well. So not just for people looking to study Korean, though you may have a supplementary Korean class, but you can also explore other interests in South Korea in addition to the language and culture program we offer there. So just some important deadlines to keep in mind as we talk more about the idea of opening application, or maybe you already have one open. Couple different ways to enroll, direct enroll without any scholarship, or what we call our Academic Merit Award for good students in good academic standing can earn $500 towards their tuition. Those are all awarded on a rolling basis. So you can get your application done now and we would have a spot for you reserved and that right away. And that's $500 scholarship if you would like to apply for it within a couple weeks. But then also the really big scholarship that we offer, the Merit Plus Financial Need Global Navigator Scholarship, includes the $500 for merit, academic merit, but then also percentage off, typically 20 to 80% off tuition, depending on financial need. That's what these deadlines are all referring to. The final deadline for those scholarships is January the 21st for award packages and spots on program awarded in February. For these programs, we ask students to be a little flexible and offer up 3 programs they're interested in. We're able to provide a spot on program for one of those 3. But if you get your application done by December the 1st, coming up pretty soon, but definitely still doable, you have a better chance of getting your top choice. In addition to that, as part of the early decision deadline, and you get to know you have a spot on program a month earlier than other students. But in addition to that, we also have a promo for a free flight voucher. So you're entered into a raffle automatically if you get your application done by that date. Tuition is all inclusive of everything on program. That is transportation while in country. Those are your classes, your excursions, your food, everything, your homestay, other accommodations, everything except for airfare. But if you get your application done early, that can also be included. And yeah, so with that, I want to turn it over to our alum to share a little bit about their personal experience. So Melanie, take it away.
Okay, hi guys. So, yeah, I'm Melanie, and last year I did the Seoul study abroad in Korea. Last year I was a freshman, so I think that was such a great opportunity as a 15-year-old, even though I was a freshman at that time. I think it was really fun. I got to meet a lot of new people, and one of the pictures you could see like me, 2 of my friends, and then my teacher. He was very like fun and like entertaining, and he like talked to us. He made like learning Korean like really fun every single day. You can also see some places that I went to, like the Buddhist temple, Nami Island, Gwangjang Market, and like some pictures that I took when I was just looking around at the scenery. Yeah, you can go check.
Awesome.
These are also more pictures of in-class stuff and like pictures that I took with me and my friends, like one of our activities, like going to Norebang, which is karaoke, and Polaroid pictures that we took at photo booths. And the one photo booth picture that we have right here is the last day when I was in Korea. We took it with our teachers because that was the only one we had with them, and it was like a bittersweet moment because like all that time we had with them, we only have one picture together, which is really sad, and I really miss them all the time. And so, yeah, you can also see my QR code for $200 off your tuition if you didn't already make one. So you should totally use that. And that's basically it. And if you have any questions, I did put my Instagram, so like you can like message me.
Awesome. Thank you, Milani. And like Milani said, so all our alumni are sharing their referral code. So if you haven't already, you can scan that to start an application and walk away tonight with $200 off your tuition if you decide to travel. Nothing, no, not committed. You're not obligated to travel or anything like that, but it does give you the opportunity to explore it a little bit more, get you connected with us, advisors to help you explore the idea of staying abroad, answer any questions down the road. And then, of course, if you start that process today, you get $200 off. So I'll leave that up there, but then we'll also have some of our other alumni provide their codes as well. So up next, we have, go ahead and take it away, Emma, Nilly.
Hi, so I'm Emma, and I did the language and culture one too. And kind of like when I was thinking about like all my like favorite moments, I kept like realizing they all related to my homestay. And I really want to talk about like how amazing like all the homestays I found with like all my friends who were there, like who had great homestays. Everyone was just amazing. You learn so much from them. You get to do so many things with them. And like all the photos there are pretty much like with my homestay. They had like a little young daughter who was like 6, and she was just like the sweetest. And you learn so much about what real life is like in other countries and how that all works. And it taught me so much there and everything. And then too, like in a lot of the photos, it's me with my teachers and like the different like program leaders and other people and my friends and everything. And all of them, including my host family, are people that you really stay in contact for forever. And you'll like look back and just be able to like keep talking with them and really share that same experience you had, because when you come home no one will really truly understand what you like experienced and how amazing it was, but those people will always know. So you can always go back to reminisce on all the amazing experiences you had and all the fun times that you had and everything, because you can see like we were at Latte World and like the photos, or even just like in classrooms and stuff, and like that was always so fun. And then too, like with the classes, they always connect really in depth into what you're doing in the culture activity later. So like in the morning you'll learn something and then it'll be applied later on in the day. So you might learn how to count in the morning and then you'll be able to apply that in the culture activity counting, and it's all so like integrative that you learn a lot and you really get to experience it in such an amazing and unique way. And then also I really wanted to like highlight too um, how much like you grow on like programs. Seoul's obviously a really big city, and navigating that can be really scary at times, but you get so much independence of learning how to be a smart traveler. And I learned so much about how to use a public transport system safely and like quickly and effectively, and also find fun things to do all the time. Me and like my best friend, we were always going every day after school to go to different like stores around everywhere in the city, and we would go to all these different cafes, and we had so much time to really explore and like see everything. If you could like switch to the next slide, there's some more photos too of kind of everything that we did. Like we all got like characters done, and we went to animal cafes, and we would rent hanboks, and we would be able to go around and take amazing photos and stop at every single photo booth there was. And you really like come away with from like the experience having learned so much and having so many amazing memories with people you really care about. And after like all of that too, you become like someone who's much more confident and you learn so much, and it's really amazing. But yes.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you, Emma. And then Emma also has that QR code. So if you still have not yet, you're welcome to scan that to get $200 off. Start the application process there. But yeah, perfect. Thank you so much for sharing, Emma. And then, of course, we'll go on to Nili. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Nili, again, and then
Hi.
introduce your slides.
Hi, I'm Neely. I also went on the Korean language and culture session one program. I've traveled to CIEE last year and this year, so getting to go to Korea, which is like on my bucket list, was really amazing, like an amazing experience for me. Um, there's a photo there in when we wore hanbok, which is like traditional Korean clothing, which is was one of my favorite activities. Um, and one thing I really liked about the program is that they really like immerse you in the program. So like you have in classes, um, they teach you mainly in Korean, and they'll speak in English if you don't understand something, but it's the classes are taught in Korean. You have to go out and use your Korean in like the world. Your host family speaks Korean with you. We also get to do this really fun activity where we meet Korean high school students, which I really enjoyed. Um, and for me, one of another highlight was the homestay experience. Like Emma said, it's like my homestay was really just amazing. It was like a mom, dad, and I had a little sister who I don't think liked me at first because I took her room, but she like warmed up to me. Um, and one thing that you have in on like when you study abroad that you don't really have like when you're at home sometimes is independence. You can really kind of do like a lot of things, like just go out and do what you want to do. So like I went to a movie with my host family, and me and my friends went out to like different parts of Seoul on the weekends or like after school. Um, and it was really just like such an amazing time. And I have some more photos on my next slide. Um, so like there's me with my host mom and my host sister on the very last day. Um, and oh, in the corner at the top, there's some traditional Korean instruments. I actually play traditional Korean drumming, and I was able to visit the Traditional Korean Instrument Museum, which was a really amazing experience for me. And I really just I recommend like studying abroad, even if it's not in Korea, I recommend studying abroad at CIE because it really was just like a life-changing experience for me both times. And I have my QR code and I have my Instagram if you would like to message me about anything else.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Nilly. Perfect, perfect. I'll give everyone a moment to, if they would like, scan that QR code there. And then coming up on the last slide here. Yeah, so I just to kind of wrap up my part of the presentation here. So our virtual fair has been happening all week. We've had a number of events covering all range of subjects from our different destinations to different aspects of the application process. But you're welcome to scan that QR code there to find out our remaining sessions, our webinars, and what schedule we had. And then, Brianna, may I ask you, where could they find any recordings if they want to go back and see our previous webinars?
Yes, you will get an email on Friday with a link to a YouTube playlist.
Awesome. Perfect, perfect. And then I think with that, we'll open it up to questions. Is that right, Brianna?
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. So
Yeah,
I
so looking
will
at the question and answer module, please drop in any questions that you have.
I will stop sharing my screen here.
So I see somebody asked, do you feel that 3 to 4 weeks is too long or too short for the experience? So how did you feel about the duration of the program?
I was gonna like answer this question just now, but then I realized that we're gonna like answer questions. For me, I think it's like the perfect amount of time because just to be honest, when I was in Korea, after like 2 weeks, I wanted to go home because I missed my dog so much. But then like when you get towards the end of the program, you're like, okay, I really like this experience. Like I want to stay here like longer. But being there for that amount of time, you get to understand the culture and how everyone works. And it's enough time to like have that deep experience, but not like long enough to like where you know like everything. It's the amount of time to like just understand like the basics and like get to know it, even if you don't want to be there for so long.
I think kind of adding on to what Melanie said, I think for me personally, it went by really fast. A month sounds like a long time, but you get there and it's like, oh my gosh, it's already been a week. And maybe that was like the best week of your life, but it's already happened. Um, and it feels like it goes by really fast. But on the same time, I had time to do everything I wanted. My bucket list was huge and it was spread out all over all of Seoul. So it was like only being able to do like one or two things a day. And I was able to do every single thing on that. I literally did every single thing I ever wanted to do in that 4 weeks. So I feel like it's definitely enough time to get the experience and to really understand the culture and give like give yourself like the seed to then want to go back again and continue to explore because in the end it is only a month, so you can go back and revisit like your host family and go to back the places you like a lot. And so I feel like it's kind of, yeah, the perfect amount of time. At times it feels kind of short because it's like a month already went by and you want to keep living there. You don't want to say goodbye to your host families or to your friends, but in the end, I think the timing is good.
Okay, I see another question that's like asking about the money, like if you pay with cash or card. For a lot of the activities, we went to like the markets, and those are the places that take like cash. So I think you should bring around like maybe $300 and like change out the currency there because a lot of places sometimes do take cash. But again, a lot of places do take card because they have that fee that they give you if you're like not a citizen, but you have to bring your passport to say that you are not a citizen. So a lot of I think Korea is being like a card place, but also those traditional places do take cash.
I wanted to answer the question about what it was like on the first day. Um, it was like kind of nighttime on when we arrived, so um we kind of just like went to the school and got picked up, but it was very exciting because you had all the parents waiting in a room, and then it was like they would call like they would bring you in, ask for your name, and then they would call a parent and the parent would come up. And for me, I like looked in the room and I looked at a woman, I was like, that's definitely my host mom. And then she stood up at my name, so I was like, "Oh, this is perfect." And she was she was so nice. Like she drove me home and was just like asking all these questions about me. Um, and like how much Korean I knew and like what were like my preferences, what did I want to eat, like what were some of the things I wanted to do. And it was almost like overwhelming like how excited she was and how like she was just like so like ready to meet me. And it was a really great first day actually. Like I was so tired, but like I had like so much energy from being around like all these new people and around my new host mom. And yeah.
I think for me, the first day was kind of scary. Um, like I getting there was very smooth. I did the chaperone flight and it was great. Um, and like getting to go there, I was in the morning flight. So like they brought you there, it was like 6 a.m. and like they walk you around like a little bit around the city and like they give you a presentation and it was really fun. You got to know everyone. You're kind of exhausted because you just had a long flight. Um, and then like you're waiting there for a while for like your host family to show up. So it's like people slowly like leave and like you're waiting for like which one's gonna be you. It's like kind of scary, you know. It's like you wonder who's gonna be for the next month, and then they walk in and it's just like the happiest faces, and it's absolutely amazing. And like I think all of the host families on the first day are like, I mean, they obviously get training before, so they're very like they know what to do and how to make you feel comfortable. They like will like bring you home. They'll like ask you questions, like show you around, like they'll like make sure like you're not like exhausted and like don't want to like see anyone or anything if like you're about to fall asleep and stuff. So they're all very like welcoming. They know what to do, and obviously it's scary. You're in a new country by yourself for probably the first time, but I think overall, like even though it's scary at times, it's so fun and you meet so many people and it's amazing.
Yeah, I want to say like my first day too. Okay, so before I even went to Korea and they gave us like the template to like meet everybody or like everybody that's in the program for that um year, I met a lot of people that were in the session two um trip, and I was able to make like an Instagram group chat, and I got like fairly like a lot of the people in there. So even before coming to Korea, I was able to get to know like around 30 out of the 50 people that were in my program session. So like before we got there, everyone knew each other. And then when we got to the airport, a lot of people did have the chaperone flight. So that gave them like extra time to get to know each other again. And then we were all like grouped up and we already like knew each other. So it was like really good for us to like we were not as awkward as we usually were. And I think I was really lucky because I was able to get into the program with my best friend that I know like now. And we also had the same host parents. So we were able to be roommates with each other and like go out with each other. And it kind of ties into this other question that was asking like, how do we navigate like to school every day? And like, did we have to like how did the commute work and how did we do it ourselves? We did the first day. They didn't like take us there. We had to go home. Our host families took us home, and then the next day for school we had to take either the bus or the train to school by ourselves. And they gave us lenient time if we were like late for class, because like yeah, we're still understanding how to navigate the train stations and the bus. And it was kind of scary because I didn't start taking the train until like the third week into the program, because I was scared that I was going to get lost on the train and like I wouldn't know where to go. So I like primarily took the bus because it was only one bus for me to take, but it took like an hour to get to school. But it's kind of fun to navigate the buses by yourself because to be honest, compared to New York, I live in New York, it's like cleaner and everything's more clear on where to go, and it's so much more easier to find your way, and the people don't bother you. So you can just be confused and they won't like stop and stare at you for being confused. So yeah.
I also wanted to answer that question and the other question that was in there. Commuting, they gave you like with your name tag, they have a card with your homestay address and directions how to get to your homestay and directions how to get to school. So they did expect you to commute on your own, but like you have like a lot of resources for if you get lost. I personally was able to commute pretty easily. But one of my friends had some trouble, so she was often like messaging me and asking for help, and I would help her. The other question was that asking about like the level of Korean we spoke. I've been learning Korean for like 3 years at my school, so I could speak a decent amount when I got there, but it was still a little difficult for the language barrier because you either had like people who would speak to you very quickly, and it can sometimes be hard to like catch up when you're constantly speaking a language that isn't your first language, or you had the people who would just speak to you in English, and that's not like immersing yourself. So with overcoming the language barrier, honestly, I just really like threw myself into practicing as much Korean as I could. So like tried to speak as much Korean with my host family and at school. I tried to like think in Korean and like talk to myself in Korean and like just really like immerse myself so that I would be able to like overcome anything that I had like difficult with the languages.
Not to do like a 180, but kind of going back to the other question too about like the commuting stuff, just because like that was one of my biggest worries for like me and my family, specifically like behind the safety of it and whatnot. So I just want to answer that because that was like my biggest worry. So like you're depending on where you live, you're probably commuting like alone to school every day. If you're like in like a if you live with like two people, you're gonna like go there. I lived in a single, um, and there was two people who lived in like the same apartment complex, so I commuted with them to school every day, and it's like pretty easy to navigate once you get the hang of it. Because even though it's like in another language, you're able to figure it out. Like there's like apps and everything that translate it and like get it all to work really smoothly, and they're obviously understanding if you're late too. And I feel like a lot of it too is just being confident in it and like being like, okay, I think this is the right bus. I'm gonna get on it. And eventually, like when you get used to that, it's not so scary and whatnot. And I was also like nervous too because I went to hang out with like my best friend that I met on the program, and it was like, oh, we wanted to go do things, and that wasn't always going to be nearby like other people to go home with. So like you'd be commuting back home alone, and like that was like scary at times, like at the beginning, because I'm like, oh my gosh, what if I get lost? But there's like a number that you can always like call if you're lost, and they always all the program leaders are like you can like know which ones to call if you're lost and whatnot. I never had that like issue ever, but it was nice to know that that was there and that people could get help really quickly if you needed it. But it's easier to navigate than you would think it will be, and it's also like very safe because even though you're thinking you might be alone in a city in a foreign country every so often, it feels super safe because you have these people who are like checking your location, and they're like by when you're sending it, and they're checking to make sure you got home, and they're checking to make sure like you don't have any issues along the way. So the commutes are like not too scary and they're not too hard, and you never really feel unsafe during them.
I also want to add on to this and then answer another question because again, it ties into it. I forgot to mention that when you are traveling, if you're alone, like you live in like a single house, you that's the only time you will commute alone. So if you're the question that I'm gonna answer now is like after class, you get to explore the city. You do get to explore the city, but when you're traveling, you have to travel with a buddy. You cannot travel alone by yourself. Like if you wanted to go to a photo booth on your own, you cannot. You have to go with either your friend or like one of the uh PLs, the parent what's it called? Yeah. Sorry. You have to like travel with somebody. You can't be on your own unless you're gonna go home if you don't have a place to go home with. So yeah.
To add on to that, we had like very loose time restraints. So you had like class would end at around 12, like 30. We would have lunch and an activity that would usually end at 3 unless there were like a free day where we could go and do whatever. After that, it's kind of free time until 6 when you have to be home to eat dinner with your host family. And then you have free time until 10 p.m. when you have to be at home. So there is restrictions to the independence and the freedom that you get, but it's still a good amount of time that you could still go out and do things. Like I went to go see a movie with my host family on one of the nights, and like I was back home by 10. It wasn't a big like the restrictions weren't a big deal that kind of like hindered your experience at all.
There's another question about like if you can be roommates with your friends. Um, it's not guaranteed that you will be roommates with someone that you put on your application, but for me, it was just by chance that I did get to be roommates with my friend. There is an option in your application that's like you can request a roommate, but it's not guaranteed that you'll get that roommate. So you just have to pray and hope. I put like four other people, so I think it was just by chance that I got like my best friend that lives with me.
To answer another question about the language learning experience, basically we would have classes every morning with like 10-minute breaks or 20-minute, like a 20-minute break. It was usually just like learning things, like Emma said, that tied into what we were gonna do later. So like if we were gonna go to like a food market, it would be like how to ask for this food or how to say this is delicious or how to ask like how much something is. Um, and for people who are struggling, you could either go to the teacher for help, or you could go to one of your friends. Like everyone in the program is willing to help you out, um, and kind of like because everybody's kind of in it together and like trying to learn the language together, so everybody's sharing notes or like I wrote notes for one of my friends like because they were having trouble keeping up, so I wrote down like a bunch of words that the teacher was saying and translated them for my friend. So if you have any struggles, it's usually the people that you go to are your friends. But the language learning experience was like really great.
I think for me too, I didn't know any Korean before I went. So it's like you're always like there's always someone to ask, kind of like what Neely said. It's you have your friends, you have your teachers, but you also have program leaders. You have like the coordinators who plan everything. You have your host family. Everyone you're surrounded by is able to help you. Like literally everyone. And maybe like your friend who's also in Korean level 1 won't be able to help you as much because they're in your same shoes, but you're able to figure it out, and it like all ties in like enough, and the classes they make them really fun. Like my teacher, she was the absolute best, and like you learned a lot because like you were able to go through like what you would be learning like that like applied to your afternoon activity, but you'd also be able to like ask her questions to learn more about different things that interest you. And then also if you weren't understanding a specific topic, I think someone mentioned earlier, like they can speak in English to help you kind of navigate that in a way that might make more sense. So while it does move like fast paced because you're going through like a year's worth of Korean in a month, so it can be hard to like remember everything, it's all taught in a way that's understandable.
To answer a question that just came up about making friends with others, as like someone antisocial, I think a lot of it is that you really have to put yourself out there, like, because everybody wants to make friends. So like there is an aspect of putting yourself out there, but I guarantee that you will be with someone. You will find someone who like will be your friend. Like if you have a roommate, that person will probably become your friend. Or there I guarantee there will be someone who like you will be able to make friends with. Like I had a bit of a social struggle in like the second week with some friends, and I felt like I was alone for like 3 days, and I was able to join a whole different group, and they like just completely accepted me. Like everybody wants to have friends, everybody is there to have a good time, so I promise like you'll be able to find someone even if you feel like it's really hard for you to make friends.
I also want to speak on this because I think that I'm a very like quiet person until like you get to know me. But like um going there in the classes are not that big. So when you're like in class with people, you're in class with like maybe 10 other people, including you and the teacher. So for me, I think like public speaking is like one of my weakest points. Hence why I'm doing this. And sometimes we did have like classwork assignments. Like at the end of the week we would have to do a project, a presentation that would be in Korean, and we have to present it to our whole class. But for my teacher, he just did it on any topic that we would like. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna freak out. I'm not good at presentations in front of people. But then I realized, like, oh, it's only like five other people staring at me. So I'm like, it's fine. And you make friends with a lot of like your whole class because again, there's like five other people in there plus your teacher. And my teacher was like really like jokey and he made us all feel like one big family in that classroom. You don't really see much of the other classes until you do like your cultural activity or you're gonna break up into like lunchtime. And it really just helps you just get to know people. And also this program like forces you to talk to strangers or like your program leaders or even your host families in Korean because like we said before, the lesson that you learn in class, you're gonna have to apply it to your cultural activity. So like Emma said about the counting, you have to count back in Korean or asking what is this to the person that's leading your cultural activity. So it just really helps you like talk to other people and like force you just be out there.
And I feel like to get into this program on like a Canvas course before you go abroad. You get I don't remember when you get access to it, but on that there's like discussion boards, and everyone will usually share like their Instagram. So there's like an Instagram group chat that I think for every single program usually that gets made. So you kind of get to know people before. It's like when you get there and you're like, oh my gosh, I know you. Like, is your profile picture this? Because you know everyone there. Um, Even if you just don't know them personally. So it's like even though you may be antisocial, maybe making friends over virtually or over Instagram, like DMs will be easier. So you have that to kind of like ease yourself into it. And then when you get there, everyone's meeting each other for the first time. Some people weren't on like the group chat just because they don't have Instagram or they didn't want to be. So you meet so many more people too. And the like he is just like putting yourself out there like on that first day, like saying hi to everyone, seeing who like you like click with and stuff, who has the same interest as you, because in the end you need like a buddy to go to do things after like the culture activities ends. That way like you don't break any rules there. So like that was like a big thing for me. It's like I wanted to find someone who had my same interest and want to do the same things, and I was able to find that no problem. So I was able to find someone who enjoyed every single same thing that I did, and we were able to do everything together every single day after cultural activities ended, and the only time we like separated was then to go home. So that was great.
With the like limitations on where to go, you had to stay an hour within Seoul, so you couldn't go to different cities like Busan or Daegu. But there's really everything you could do in Seoul. Like there isn't really like a need to go to a different like city. Um, I know a group of girls who after the program went to Jeju Island. Um, but like everything you really need to do or want to do is in Seoul. So the restriction wasn't really a problem.
Yeah, so Seoul's like huge, so that's like never gonna be a problem of running out of things to do in a month. Because even I was like with my host family, and they're like, "Oh, I've never even done this," and they've lived there their entire lives pretty much. So you're never gonna run out of things to do if you go to like a program in a big city like Seoul. But also, you get to go outside of the city when you're with like the groups like on weekends. So we went to like Nami Island, and we went to like other areas that were like about 3 hours outside of Seoul. So you do get to go outside of Seoul. You just do it in a bigger group setting that's a bit more safe, a bit more comfortable, and also just easier.
You find so before you go on the program, there's a course on Canva that you're invited to called Know Before You Go. And there is a discussion post where you introduce yourself and say like, "Hi, my name is this. I'm going on this program. I like A, B, C, D," and then you put your Instagram, and then somebody um, organizes a group chat, and that's how everybody finds each other on Instagram.
With that too, it sometimes works out that you might be like on similar flights. Because I know maybe if you're like scared with like going to fly alone or whatnot, or you don't want to do the chaperone flight for like maybe cost reasons, but you don't want to fly alone. I know a lot of people on the program who got together and did crazy connections from like Chicago to Hawaii and like California in between and all of that to get there. And they're able to do that because they found that person like through like that course before. So like that course also like goes over other things. So you're like feel very ready before you go. And so you know people, you're ready like for all like the cultural stuff and all of that. So like you as long as you're like kind of like doing that Canvas course, which you're required to do anyway, you'll like be prepared and you'll be able to meet those people really easily.
Yeah, for me, I met someone that was on my exact flight and she didn't even book her seat yet on TikTok because I before I even went, I was like posting about like going to Korea and like trying to like probably raise more money for my tuition to help my parents pay for it. She literally just messaged me. She's like, "Oh, I'm going on that program too, and I'm going to be on this flight." I'm like, "Oh my God, we're on the same flight." And like, "Oh, you should book this seat right next to me and my friend." And we were able to book the seats together, and we were able to fly together, which was really, really fun because even though it was just me and my friend, I already had company, having that extra person to be with was really good. And even when we got to the airport, we saw other CIE participants, not even ones that were just going to Seoul. Like I saw someone that was going to like China and like Thailand. I'm like, oh, that's so fun. And like some people were on my Seoul flight, but I think they were for like a different program. And yeah, and there's a question about how do they determine your class level? Before you get to Korea, after you get your acceptance, you will get you'll have to take a stamp test, which is a level proficiency test, and it will determine your level in Korea. However, they don't really go off of that grade because like it's not that accurate. So after you take that class, they'll take consideration of your grade for that. And then when you get to Korea, they'll do a little mini interview to see like, oh, what class are you in? Because my grade for Korea was a level 0, but when I did my interview, I was actually a level 1. And if you find any classes that you're placed in difficult, you can either ask to be moved down or moved up. One of my friends in my classes, she thought our level 1 was too easy for her, so she moved up to level 2. And it's really flexible.
For the question about gifts, I would absolutely recommend bringing a gift, because it's like super respectful in Korean culture to bring a gift because you're coming into their home, you're staying there for a month. For me, I brought like candy, not candy, I brought like chocolate from my culture. I brought them a Dodgers like t-shirt type of thing. Um, and I heard from a lot of my Korean friends that Koreans really like Trader Joe's and they like spicy things. So I brought them like Trader Joe's like spicy Takis. So I would recommend I would definitely bring a gift. And I think it's a totally great question to ask.
I don't think like any of the host families like expect you to bring a gift because like they know like there's it's like different culturally, but I think it's a very nice way to like kind of like show who you are, like have some good talking points, and it's like I mean, you're gonna be staying with this family for like a month, like let's start off like the relationship really good. So I kind of did the same thing as Millie did, and I heard that Trader Joe's, was good. I think everyone did, and I got them a bunch of stuff from there. I'm from Minnesota, so I didn't have like many like good like Minnesotan things to bring, but like a lot of people would bring things that were like specific to their state and stuff that like just like got to know a bit more about you and like made it a little bit more special to show like your culture because in the end you're learning their culture but they're also learning about yours. It's like a true exchange. My host family would ask me just as many questions as I would ask them, and we were able to really like explore each other's cultures. So the gift's like a good way to kind of start that exchange of culture like between you guys.
One thing I wanted to answer a question and like simultaneously bring something up, asking about the weather and how to pack for it. It was really, really hot in Korea. Um, like, like really insane. Like, there's not like I almost would recommend you not even packing like pants. It was so hot. Um, but my one recommendation about packing is to not bring a full suitcase. Like take a big suitcase and like maybe do like half or like one side because I guarantee you you're gonna come back with so much stuff. Like last year I had to buy a second suitcase because I didn't have enough room. This year I was overweight with my suitcases. Like or with one of my suitcases, like, I would definitely, like, don't pack a lot. Like, even if you feel like, "Wow, I'm so underpacked, like, I feel like I don't have anything," you're gonna buy so much stuff there. Yeah, that's my but it's really hot in Korea. Like, I like definitely pack sunscreen or just buy some when you get there because they have better sunscreen than we do. And like just prepare to be like super hot every day.
Yes, I could not take the heat. Like I was gonna cry because every time I would leave the house and by the time I would get to school, I looked like I just ran a marathon because it's just really, really humid. Like it's not even just the sun, it's just the like the air outside is just really wet and moist. So like your hands will feel really, really wet, even though it doesn't even seem like it. Like I couldn't take it. But it's not bad because it reminds me of like Caribbean weather and it just like brings really a lot of nostalgia for me. But yeah, packing, don't bring a lot. Just bring like two suitcases or something because I had one I had one big suitcase in a carry-on and like my backpack and everything was full. My big bag was just like it was like 49 pounds, just 1 pound off of the weight limit. And I was gonna cry because I'm like, oh my God, my parents are gonna probably get mad at me for buying so much stuff. And then my carry-on was like, I put all my clothes in there. And then my bag, my other carry-on bag was like really, really big. So yeah. But also the weather change is really crazy because I went in July and the first week it was really, really hot. And then the second week it was just pouring rain. Like every single day was just wet. And I didn't even have any like rain boots. I just had sneakers and sandals. And my mom was telling me to just wear sandals in the rain. I'm like, no, thank you. And then after that, it was just back to being really, really hot. So just be prepared for that. But I think July is a good time to go.
Yeah, I think the weather's definitely a little less crazy. I think first session it's a little less hot and it didn't rain very much. I personally like the heat a lot, so it wasn't like a huge like thing for me. But the nights do get really hot because a lot of the families don't use the AC at night. So make sure like you pack like light for like pajamas and stuff, and pack like a big variety because every so often there's like a random cold day or there was like a day where it's like, oh, you should like probably wear like a pair of pants just like out of respect for like what you're doing. Because if like you're visiting like a temple or something, that's just usually best. So like have like a good variety and know that you can like do laundry. So like don't pack that much because like I know like for me, like I wanted to shop a lot when I was there. So I had like a big like checked suitcase that had like a bunch of like my host family's gifts. So it was like half of my host family's gifts, and then I had like a giant like backpacking backpack that I borrowed and like kept in my suitcase. So then I filled that completely. So I brought back like 75 pounds of souvenirs. And it was amazing. But you got to like make sure you like pack a lot of room. I think specifically if you're going to like a big place like Korea that's like really big on like shopping and stuff, if that's like something you're interested in. So pack light, make sure you pack like a good variety for weather and stuff and kind of like do some research ahead if like you choose like not to go to Korea but a different place. Look at see what the weather is usually at that time and make sure like you pack a wide variety of clothes for that.
Also pack sneakers because you're going to be walking a lot and there's a lot of hills. Korea is just known for being really mountainous. So like there's like a lot of hills to go up, especially in the sea. You need good walking shoes because a lot of the cultural activities you will be walking to, you will not take the bus. And I say bring a good handheld fan or buy one in Korea because if you're on the bus and it's really packed, it's really hot in there. It gets really, really hot in there. So you gotta bring a good fan or buy one there. I bought my fan from Korea and I still have it and I love it so much. I love it so much that my mom takes it from me because it's so good. So just bring that and be prepared. And then someone asked about the process of being accepted. It was just easy. After you do your application, they have some other stuff that you have to fill out. And then when you get your acceptance, you just have to pay the $1,000 fee and then after that you just pay the rest after what your tuition takes off. So yeah, it's really easy actually. You just have to follow the directions and every other step and you'll be fine. You can also ask your advisor if you're confused or if you know any other alumni, they can also help you with your application.
Yeah, to add on really quickly, the trains are also very hot. Like they blast the AC, but when you have a lot of people in there, it's just hot. So most places will have their AC like on, but just like definitely have a fan because you never know what to expect. With the process after being accepted, I didn't find it too difficult. It's kind of just um like a course where it's just like, you know, don't be disrespectful and um like and this is what we're gonna be doing. So like and just like basic rules of like to things that you should know before you go on the trip. Um it wasn't a very difficult process at all.
Yeah, adding on to that, I'd kind of like rate it like a 3 out of 10 on like all the stuff you have to do after you're accepted. Because like in the end, it is a decent amount of stuff to do, but it's all laid out for you very easily. There's like a tab under your application, there'll be like things to read, and you'll just go through and read them all. And then there's like the things to do, and you'll do all of them with all the links. So it's all laid out in a way that's really understandable. And like the Know Before You Go course, like it's not that long. They make it sound kind of long when they like tell you it's like coming and stuff, but it's really not that long and it's really quick. I like have traveled abroad a lot before that. So for me, like it was mostly stuff I already knew, but it was nice to kind of get that from like the CIE perspective and it just makes you feel more confident before you go abroad because I know some people it's their first time traveling outside of the country and they were doing it alone. And that's like pretty scary, but all the things that you're doing after you get accepted are meant to make you feel better. They're not like made to just like make you do stuff and like whatnot. It's all meant to make you more prepared and make you feel more ready for the program. So it's not very challenging and in the end it's nice that that's there because it just makes you feel better and it gets you all ready. So I would give it like a 3 out of 10 just because there's like a decent amount of stuff to do, but it's all very manageable.
Yeah, it's really fun. The $1,000 fee isn't really included in the tuition because the tuition when you get your scholarship, it will take money off of what you would get for that scholarship. So if the tuition was $6,000 and you got a $1,000 scholarship, that's you only have to pay 5,000, but you're gonna pay that 1,000 from that 5,000 first. So then once you pay that 1,000, you would have to pay the rest of that $4,000 that you have left to pay for that. So if you got a bigger scholarship and you only have like 500, then you pay that like 500, I'm pretty sure. And then also you have your flight cost to pay. So yeah.
Just to add to that answer really quick, thank you so much, Melanie. The 1,000, when you're looking at prices for the program, that is inclusive of the $1,000 deposit. Well, awesome, guys. You guys were great. Thank you so much for taking the time for everyone to come. Thank you so much to our alums for answering those questions so thoroughly and wonderfully and thoughtfully and sharing your experience with everyone here. I hope that encourages you guys to think about studying abroad more. We are just about ready to wrap up here. So you're welcome. Thank you, Melanie. You're welcome to follow up with questions with our alums directly on their socials. But then also, if you have an application open, you're welcome to reach out to us as well. We're happy to help you and continue the chat about studying abroad.